Since last year when I made a video at 1,500 miles in this car, I had nothing but positive reviews. I didn't even have it for a whole year yet. Now, I'm over a year in, again, 8,000 miles in, and I have some things that I've grown to not necessarily hate, but, you know, we'll talk about them. This is video going to be for anybody looking to get a 2025 Ford Bronco, even a model older than this one, maybe a 21 or 22. It's going to be some helpful things in this video to not only help you with that purchase, but also to share my experience and give you some insight on what to expect. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. There are so many different Broncos and so many different price tags, and there is a way to maybe get more than you need and definitely get less than what you want. So let's go ahead and talk about that for a bit. Now you have the Outer Banks like myself, you have the Badlands, Wild Track, Raptor, so on. I think for most people, it's all about getting into a Bronco and understanding the differences on what to expect from the base models all the way to your Raptors or your Everglades, right? For me, I chose the Outer Banks because I did want a daily driver. I wasn't necessarily going to be doing a bunch of overlanding or camping, but I do plan on doing some. But I know most of my travels are going to be just commutes from work to the gym, things of that nature. I definitely want to go over some features that I feel like are going to make and break any model, some of the must-haves, and also some of the things to look out for when purchasing a Bronco. So I got my Facebook Meta Ray-Bans on. Let's go ahead and give you a personalized view inside the car, shall we? Let's go. All right, so getting into the Ford Bronco, I'm going to use the remote start, which I really appreciate, especially in those hot summer months, cold winter months. Always good to have that option to cool down the car, heat it up. So we're here, drop these keys off. Love the screen, love the experience as you get in the car. They give you a little movie action here. I went ahead and took the top off to help me with some light on this camera here, what's going on. So first and foremost, I want to talk about this screen. It's a 12-inch screen. At the time, I had to upgrade this screen. I believe the 2024 models and beyond will have this as a standard screen and a standard display. I know the other screen was like an 8-inch screen. To be honest, this car is way too beefy and way too nice to just have such a small screen right there on the console. So I believe the 12-inch screen is an absolute must. Get it if you don't have it. As you can see here, we're at 8,039 miles, and I'm getting about 16.5 miles per gallon. I do need some gas, do not judge me. And also, the car is not the cleanest that it could be. So also think these aux switches are going to be a must, just in case you want to add some lights, different options and accessories to your car. That's always a good thing to have rather than to not have it and one day want to update, right? So that's going to be also a great addition. I have the navy option for the leather seats. Again, this is the Outer Banks, so this option came available with that. I'm really happy with these seats. They're very comfortable. I don't get driver's fatigue ever. I've driven this car for about 5 hours straight going from Georgia to North Carolina, and I have no complaints as far as the comfortability of this car. In this cabin, I feel really nice. I have tints on my windshields and my windows in the front, so it just gives it a nice, dark, comfortable feel while driving, and it's not so heavy on the eyes and not so bad with the heat. One of my gripes, speaking of heat, is going to be this back seat here. So the issue with the back seat is that there are no AC anything to cool down any of your passengers back here. They will be hot, and if they don't have a window down, if they don't have the top off, or if the sun is just scorching that day, they're going to feel that heat, and it's going to take a while for the air conditioning here at this unit to hit all the way to the back. So that is definitely a gripe and something to consider when getting your Bronco. And I gotta say, number one biggest gripe with the interior of anything interior with this car is going to be the sound system. One of the worst things you can do is get in this car for the first time and play music. Play music without any kind of upgraded sound system at all. I have the B&O, which I selected as an option when ordering this car, and even that has been a headache. I'm gonna tell you why. Actually, I can just show you. Check this out. So I went to Ford, had them take a look at this. That rattling is something that many Ford Bronco owners are experiencing. They said that there's a possibility that that rattling will be fixed. It may be a recall on Broncos. They'll come in, fix it, whatever the case. It's just where the subwoofer is sitting inside of that unit, it just wasn't built correctly. It wasn't manufactured correctly from what the Ford staff told me. They said it's causing all that rattling because of the extra space and the screws. Now, a way to fix that is going to be these little rubber washers that you can put in there, and it should eliminate some of that rattling from the vibrations and such. But that is a gripe, and it's really bad, especially when you want to play music, you're jamming. Yeah, it just sucks because, like, what is that? That's super annoying, right? Another one of the things I was very excited about and I still love to this day is going to be this hard top roof. I'm not a big fan of soft tops just because of the convertible window in the back. It can kind of look flimsy, and honestly, I just love the overall square shape, rectangle shape, box style of a hard top roof on this kind of car. I removed the hard top here so I can get some sunlight. Y'all can see what's going on inside of the vehicle. And it's super simple. You just twist these, click these down, and it's ready to go. I'm able to do this in literally seconds, and I just store it in the back. These first two panels store easily in the back seat or the trunk. This panel right here and the one in the far back, you will need to storage it in some sort of garage or inside the house. It's way too big to keep in the car, but once it's removed, it's really a joy, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot. Now, one of the common things I get questioned about this vehicle specifically is the gas mileage. I have the V6 2.7. It is a big engine, twin turbo. We have big tires on the Sasquatch package, and it's not simply a Ford Prius or something that's going to be fuel efficient. There's some things out there saying an EV is coming soon, an electric Bronco is coming soon, but this isn't it. Now, again, I've had this car for about a year and I've only gotten 8,000 miles on it. So you could probably tell I don't drive it too much or very long distances often. So the gas really isn't an issue for me, but it's not gas fuel efficient at all. So if that's going to be an issue for you, it's definitely something to think about. And since we're here talking about the characteristics of a Bronco, of a vehicle of this build, I have to mention the noise, especially while driving. It sounds like it needs WD-40 often. You know, the rattling, the bumps, you're going to hear it, you're going to feel it. It doesn't bother me much. When I get phone calls or I'm listening to music, I can just turn the phone call up, turn the music up, and I personally hear fine. When I go about 50 to 70 miles per hour, sometimes I can pick up on, okay, it is getting kind of noisy, whether it's the wind noise or, again, just the rattling of the car driving. That can be a thing. So I want to go ahead and show you an example of that, and you can kind of get a feel for it. But definitely, if that's going to be an issue for you, if you're sensitive to sound or wanting a quiet cabin like a Benz or something like that, yeah, that might be a problem. But let's get into how that sounds a little bit. And yeah. So right now we are parked in the car. This is what it sounds like with the AC on level 3, with the engine running and the auto stop is off. Now here's what it sounds like with the AC off completely. So this is just the beginning. We're going to go ahead and start driving. We'll probably do like 35 miles per hour, get on the highway, maybe hit around 65, 70. And I'll let you all see how that sounds when we get there as well. So this is about 32 to 35 miles per hour. Doing 70 miles per hour. Picking up a little bit of speed here. Definitely hear the wind pushing on those windows, kind of cutting through. One of my favorite things about the Ford Bronco is definitely going to be how modular this car is. For me, I already made some really simple but really cool adjustments to me. I got the stock rim, which is the Outer Banks rim that comes with the Sasquatch package. It did have a silver bead lock, but what I went ahead and did was replace this bead lock with a black one to give it more of that Wild Track stock look. What I also did was took a Wild Track grill and painted it gray to match the Badlands color, which happened to match the carbonized gray of my Ford Bronco. And of course, I can't go on without mentioning the Form lighting headlights that I got from Form. I'll make sure to leave a link in the description and also on the screen. Appreciate you guys at Form. There are endless options how you can modify your Bronco, and no matter what you want to do, Ford made it very easy to just grab a couple tools and do it at home. You don't always have to go to a shop. You don't always have to schedule some sort of, I don't know, appointment with your dealership. You can actually make these modifications done at home. And I've actually done all of those modifications myself. A few tools, a couple hours, a little bit of sunlight, and yeah, we made it happen.